Darren never imagined his first day at Starbase 9 would change the galaxy. He had arrived that morning on the cargo shuttle. It's just another new worker among many. He wasn't a soldier, not a pilot, not even an officer. He was just a technician. Smart with his hands, always fixing things. That's what he was here for. Repairs, maintenance, and maybe a little peace from Earth's noisy cities. The starbase floated at the edge of known space. It was massive, shaped like a circle split into 7 levels. The outer walls were always humming with power. Lights blinked softly across long gray corridors. Soldiers walked with discipline. Officers gave short, sharp commands. Darren kept his head down and listened. A man named Bryn took him on a short tour. "You'll be working mostly on Sector 3, Bryn said, chewing gum. "Oxygen lines, floor panels, maybe some scanner recalibration. Don't touch anything marked red. That's military tech." Understood. Darren replied, but just before they reached the lift, a sharp alarm rang through the hallway. Red lights flashed above the doors. Bren looked up with confusion. "That's the restricted hangar, ... It never activates." A voice came over the comms. "All available personnel to Hangar 12, code black." Without thinking, Bren pulled Darren. With him, let's move. They followed 2 security guards down a narrow corridor. Darren's heart beat faster. This wasn't part of the plan. He wasn't trained for emergencies. But when they reached the hangar door, everything changed. The door scanned each of them. A red light flashed for the others. But when Duran stepped forward, the scanner turned green. The door hissed open. Everyone stared. Bren spoke first. "He's authorized." "That's impossible," one guard said, but Duran was already walking in, drawn by something he didn't understand. Inside the hangar was a strange sight. At the center of the room stood a tall glass chamber. Suspended inside, surrounded by glowing blue light, was an alien woman. She had deep blue skin like polished stone. Her long white hair was braided down both sides of her chest. She wore a dark suit made of layered metal, shaped perfectly to her body. She looked powerful, proud, and ... asleep. Her eyes were closed until they weren't. The moment Duran stepped closer, the chamber's light blinked. A low hum filled the room. The alien woman's eyes shot open, bright yellow, sharp like a cat's. She stared at him and then she moved. The chamber cracked. The stasis field shut down with a loud burst. Soldiers nearby raised their weapons. Duran stepped back, but the woman didn't attack. She didn't run. She stood still, her eyes locked on him. Then she whispered, in clear English, "They told me about you." The room fell silent. Everyone stared at Duran. He blinked, confused. "What?" he asked. The alien woman tilted her head. "Your name, say it," he hesitated. "I'm Duran." She closed her eyes for a second, then opened them again. "Yes, that name, the voice that wakes the stars." Darren looked at Bren, who was just as confused. "Ma'am," one of the soldiers said, stepping forward carefully, "you are in custody." "Please do not," the woman raised her hand, "not in violence, but calm. I will not harm you, but I will. Only speak to him." She pointed at Darren. "To me?" he asked. "Yes," she said, "only you." Later that evening, Darren sat in a small white room, being questioned by Base Command. Captain Roan, a serious-looking officer with a rough voice, stared at him across the table. "Did you meet this alien before?" Roan asked. "No, sir. Have you ever worked with alien tech? Ever visited a non-Earth world?" "No, I lived in South Colony. I worked on water filters. This is my first off-world job." Roan leaned back. "Then why does she know your name?" "I don't know. She speaks only to you. She refuses food, refuses to answer any of our questions unless you're present." "We don't understand." Duran rubbed his forehead. He was tired, confused, and a little scared. "I don't either, I swear." A beep came from the wall. A voice. "Captain Roan, the Queen is requesting the technician again." Roan stood up. "Looks like you're important now, Duran. Be careful. Whatever this is, it's bigger than us." They brought him to a quiet chamber clean. silver, with smooth lights in the ceiling. The alien queen sat calmly on a bench, her hands folded in her lap. No cuffs, no guards, just silence. He entered slowly. She looked up and gave a small nod. You came. I didn't have a choice, Duran said. You still came. He sat across from her, unsure of what to say. My name is Velra, she said. I am queen of the Virilan race. We do not kneel. We do not surrender. But I am here because of you. Me. Yes. A long time ago, a human came to my world. He warned us of what was coming. He spoke of a descendant. His blood, his mind, his voice. The one who would wake the galaxy. That descendant, is you. Duran shook his head. That can't be. I don't even know what I'm doing here. But your name, your presence, matches everything we were told. The scanners let you through. My dreams showed your face. This is a mistake, he said, voice low. Perhaps Velra whispered, but if it is not, then everything is about to change. Duran looked into her golden eyes and felt something strange stir in his chest. A connection, a question, and far out in space, something ancient began to awaken. The name Duran echoed through the halls of Starbase 9 like a strange riddle no one could solve. After the meeting with the alien queen Velra, everything changed for Duran. He was no longer just a technician. Soldiers looked at him differently. Officers whispered when he passed. Some stared with suspicion, others with quiet curiosity. But Darren didn't have answers, not for them, and not even for himself. He sat alone in the base garden, a quiet place with small green plants and fake sunlight above. He stared at his hands, wondering why an alien queen would say he was part of a prophecy. Across the room, Mira, one of the junior pilots, walked over and sat beside him. They're talking about you all over the base, she said.
I know.
Daron replied. Is it true that she only speaks to you? Yes. Mira watched him carefully. You don't look like someone from a legend. Darren gave a short laugh. That makes two of us. She smiled but said nothing. After a moment she asked, What did she say to you? Really? Darren looked up. She said I was part of something. That someone from Earth came to her world. Long ago? That I'm his descendant. That I'm supposed to wake something. Something bigger. Mira leaned back.
Do you believe it?
He didn't answer. Later, Darren was called back to the meeting chamber. Velra was waiting. As before, there were no guards inside the room. Only silence, and a queen who watched him with deep golden eyes. You came again, she said. I have questions, Darren replied. Ask. Who was the human that came to your world? Velra nodded slowly. He crashed many generations ago. Our skies were dark with war, and we believed your kind were only stories. But he came with fire and peace. To pronounce, but he spoke with such calm that even my ancestors listened. What did he tell you? That Earth would rise? That humanity asked ChatGPT. Rian sat alone in the ship's observation deck, staring out into the stars. The darkness of space stretched endlessly, but his mind was filled with strange lights, ancient voices, and the memory cube still sitting in his bag. Valari had said nothing since the ship left the station. She piloted the small transport vessel with quiet focus. Her fingers moved across glowing controls like a soft wind across glass. She didn't need maps. She knew where to go. Rian didn't ask her. How? The silent zone. That's what she called it. A region of space where ships lost power. No signals. A dead place avoided by all. We'll reach the edge in 1 hour, Valari finally said. Her voice broke the silence like a soft bell. Rian turned. What's inside it? She didn't look at him. Memories, truth, and the thing you must. See, he frowned. You're still sure it's me? She glanced at him, her golden eyes calm. Yes. They crossed the edge of the silent zone an hour later. Everything went dark. The ship's lights flickered once, then died. The engines hummed low and silent. Gravity held, but barely. Rian floated slightly from his seat. Control panels went black. We're here, Valari whispered. How is this normal? he asked, gripping the side rail. This zone is older than light, she replied. Even my people do not fully understand it. But you've been here before? She shook her head. Never. Only in stories. Edion floated closer to the front window. Outside, there was nothing, just blackness and stars that looked dimmer than before. Then far in the distance, he saw something, a faint red glow. What is that? Valari smiled gently. It's waiting for you. They put on lightweight suits and left the ship, using small magnetic boots to walk along the outer hull, then toward the surface of a nearby moon. The moon looked dead. Gray soil, cracked stone, no wind. No sound. But as they moved closer to the red light, Rian noticed something beneath the dust, a symbol carved into the stone. A human handprint. He paused. This can't be. Valari knelt beside the carving. Your kind was here before. Long before your Earth even had satellites. Rian's mind spun. That's impossible. No, she said. That is why you must remember. She took his hand and pressed it gently onto the carved handprint. The ground vert. A loud, low sound echoed beneath the surface. Dust shook loose from nearby rocks. The soil moved like a wave, then cracked open. A stone door slid upward. Behind it, stairs led down into a red-lit tunnel. Valari stepped back. It will only open for you. Inside the tunnel, old walls glowed with red light. Strange markings covered the stone. Some looked alien. Others looked human. Rian's heart beat faster with every step. At the end of the tunnel stood a tall, thin structure like a spire made of smooth black metal. Floating above it was a small orb of golden light. As Rian stepped closer, the orb changed. Glowing brighter, Valari stood behind him, watching in silence. Rian reached out slowly and touched the orb. The world around him vanished. Suddenly, he was somewhere else. Not in the tunnel, not on the moon. He stood in a field of silver grass under a purple sky. A soft wind blew. In front of him stood a man with dark eyes and calm hands. You're early, the man said. Who are you? Rian asked. A messenger. The man replied, A long time ago I came here like you. I left a piece of myself in this place, waiting for the right one to return. Why me? Because you carry the memory, not in your mind. In your soul. Rian shook his head. I don't understand. You will. The man pointed at the sky. It filled with images, wars, collapsing stars, broken planets, and then hope, people reaching across space. Humans, standing side by side with other races, peace that came only after someone remembered what had been forgotten. You are not chosen by force, the man said. You are chosen by choice. You can leave now and forget all this, or you can carry it forward. Rian looked down. The golden orb was now inside his chest, beating like a second heart. I'll carry it, he said. The man smiled. Then you are ready. Rian opened his eyes. He was back in the tunnel. Valari stood close, watching him with wide eyes. What happened? She asked. I saw him, Rian said. The one who came before. Valari stepped forward. And did. You accept it? Yes. She placed a hand gently on his shoulder. Then the truth is awake again, as they walked back to the surface. The stone door closed behind them. The stars above looked clearer now, brighter. Rian looked up and whispered, I'll remember. Valari turned to him, her voice softer than ever. Good, because the galaxy has waited long enough. The small ship drifted silently away from the silent zone. Rian sat near the back of the cabin, staring at his hands. His fingers trembled lightly, though he wasn't cold. Something had changed inside him. He could still feel the golden orb's warmth deep in his chest. Like a second heartbeat, calm, steady, but powerful. Valari watched him from the pilot's seat, but said nothing. She could sense it too. After a long pause, she finally asked, What? Did the memory show you? Rian looked up slowly. It showed me Earth, broken, burning. It showed stars dying, people screaming. It showed hope, peace. It showed a future where humans didn't just survive, they led. Valari nodded softly. Then you have seen the flame, Rian frowned. What is it exactly? Some kind of weapon? No, not a weapon. A memory passed through time. A spark of understanding. Long ago it was shared by many. Worlds, then greed, fear, and pride made them forget. One by one, they lost it. And now it's in me? Yes, she said. You carry it now, not in your body, in your soul. They arrived back at Station Archon 3 days later as soon as their ship docked. A group of officers surrounded them. Commander Juno, the human leader of the station, stepped forward with a tight expression. You left without orders, she said firmly. Rian stood tall. I know, but I found something. Something important. Juno's eyes narrowed. What exactly? Before Rian could answer, Valari stepped forward. He carries the flame. The officers looked confused. Juno raised a brow. What flame? Psst. The voice was calm. Same one that ended the War of Six Suns. The one that united the Seven Moons Pact. The one we believed was lost. Juno crossed her arms. And you're saying a human has it now? He does. The commander didn't speak for a while. Then she sighed. Fine. Come with me. Rian was taken to a special room round, quiet and lined with light. Earth science team, along with Valari's people, the Alari, were waiting inside. A tall Alari elder named Solmir stepped forward. His face was marked with soft blue lines of age and knowledge. Let us see what he carries, Solmir said gently. Valari nodded. Arion stood in the center of the room. Solmir raised a long silver device and waved it slowly in front of him. Lights flickered. The room began to hum. Then, slowly, golden light began to rise from Rian's chest. It formed a small glowing sphere above his heart. Pulsing with life, gasps filled the room. Even the machines began to respond. Screens lit up without power. Old tech, long considered dead now, glowed softly. It's true, Solmir whispered. The flame has returned. But not everyone was pleased. A human officer named Brand stepped forward. He looked uneasy. If this thing is so powerful, should we really let one person carry it, especially someone so young? I didn't ask. For this, Rian replied calmly. It found me. Maybe so, Brand said. But power like this should be controlled. Valari stepped between them. You do not control the flame. It chooses. Brand frowned, but said no more. That night, Rian sat quietly in his room. The lights were off. The memory orb still floated beside him, gently glowing. He reached out and touched it again, this time. As the visions were clearer, he saw Valari's world, beautiful cities made of light, gardens that grew in the air, people who once smiled freely. Then he saw war machines falling from the sky, cities burning, her people hiding in silence. He felt their fear, their grief, and then he saw himself, standing at the center of it all, but not alone. Valari stood beside him, not as a guide, but as a friend. The next morning, Valari returned to his room. She didn't say anything at first. She simply stood by the window watching the stars. Rian sat up. You okay? She nodded slowly. I'm afraid. Of what? That the flame will not be enough. Rian stood and walked beside her. What do you mean? There's a shadow in the galaxy, she said. A group that fears unity. They believe humans are a threat. You've already heard the flame. Has awakened? They will come. And they will try to take it or destroy it. Rian stayed quiet for a moment, and he looked at her with steady eyes. Then let them come. Valari turned to him. You are not a warrior. No, he said. But I'm human, and that means I don't run from truth. Face it. Looked at him carefully. You sound like the one who came before. Maybe I carry more than just memory. She smiled for the first time in days. The flame had returned. The galaxy had noticed. And the silence before the storm had begun to break. But one thing was. Now Sertanian was no longer just a technician. He was the flame bearer, and his journey had only just begun. The wind on the moon howled through the narrow rocks as Liam held Solon tightly in his arms. Mira ran beside them, her eyes fixed on the scanner in her hand. Behind them, red searchlights scanned the cliffs. The enemy ship had landed. Close. We're almost there. Mira shouted over the sound of wind and metal echoing behind them. Liam looked up and saw a silver shape just ahead, half hidden by a tall cliff. It was Mira's small starship, the same one they had arrived, and its engines were already warming up. The faint hum gave him hope. Just a little more Solon, Liam said, his breath heavy. I'm not scared, Solon said, wrapping his arms around Liam's neck. I'm with you and Mother. Liam smiled at that, though the moment was tense. Suddenly a loud sound cracked through the air. Boom. A part of the rocky path exploded behind them. Red beams shot across the trail. The enemy had drones fast, floating machines with weapons built into their sides. Mira grabbed Liam's arm. Keep moving, I'll cover. No, Liam shouted. We go together. But Mira had already turned, pulling out a small energy shield from her belt. She activated it and held it up, blocking another red blast just in time. Liam didn't stop. He ran toward the ship's entrance ramp with Solon. In his arms, Myra backed away slowly, her shield glowing as more blasts hit around her. At the last moment, she turned and ran after them. As soon as Liam stepped inside the ship, he placed Solon gently in the co-pilot's seat. Buckle in. Stay low. Solon nodded quickly and obeyed. Mira jumped in and hit the main control, the ship. Door slammed shut, locking out the sound of the enemy behind them. Engines ready, she said. Lifting off. Liam took the pilot's seat and pulled back the controls. The ship shook, then rose into the sky. The enemy drones followed, shooting lasers and missiles, but Mira's ship was fast. Shields at 50%, Mira said, checking the screen. They're trying to disable us, not destroy. They want Solon alive, Liam said. They want to take him? Then they'll have to catch us first, Mira replied. The ship broke through the upper sky of the moon and into space. Stars opened around them like a sea of diamonds. The enemy ship followed behind, much larger and slower. We can't outrun them forever, Mira said. No, Liam agreed. But maybe we can outsmart them. He typed quickly on the navigation panel. There's a gravity storm not far. It's dangerous, but they won't follow us inside. Mira looked at him. You really are human, Liam smiled. We're good at taking crazy risks. She nodded. Then let's do it. The small ship dove into a strange part of space. The stars here shimmered strangely, and large chunks of broken asteroids floated near glowing clouds of gas. A small gravity storm, a swirling wave of space energy, danced ahead like a stormy sea. Solon looked. Out the window? It's beautiful, yes, Myra said quietly. But it's also wild. Behind them, the enemy ship paused. Didn't enter. They're scanning it, Liam said, trying to decide if it's worth the risk. He turned toward Mira. We hide inside for a while. Let them think we're gone, Mira agreed. Liam guided the ship gently into the edge of the storm. The ship shook, and lights flickered. But the inner systems held strong. They found a quiet space inside a floating debris field and powered the engines down. Silence returned. No one followed. They were safe. For now, later, Liam sat beside Solon, who was quietly drawing stars on a small screen. Mira prepared some food using the ship's supply unit. You're very brave, Liam told Solon. Solon looked up. I didn't feel brave, but I didn't want to leave you. Liam smiled and placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. That's what bravery is. Doing what matters even when it's hard. Mira brought them food and sat close. We can't stay here long, she said. The storm will shift. Liam nodded. We need to find somewhere safe. One place, Mira said. An old base from before the wars. It's abandoned now, but it has shields. Hidden systems, even medical tech. Good, Liam said. We can rest. Make plans. And figure out how to stop all this. Mira looked down at Solon. He's special, Liam. Not just because of us. He can do things. Things no one has seen before. Liam raised an eyebrow. It's like, what? Show him, Solon. The boy hesitated, then raised his hand. Small light appeared in his palm, not from a tool, not from any machine. It's just pure energy, soft and golden, floating above his fingers. Liam's eyes widened. How? Mira's voice was calm. His body carries the strength of two species, but his mind, his heart, they are something more. He was born in peace, not war. Born of love. Solon closed his hand and the light faded. Liam sat back, amazed. No wonder they want him. Mira leaned closer. But we will protect him. Together. Suddenly the ship's scanner beeped. Liam rushed to check. Another signal. Small ship. Not the same one. Someone else found us. Mira checked the screen. It's XELARI ... but not hostile. It's my brother's signal. He helped hide Solon before. He may be able to help again. Can we trust him? Liam asked. We have. 2, she said. Outside the storm, a sleek ship appeared, carefully approaching. Solon stood up. Who is it? Mira smiled. Emily. The silver ship slowly came closer, moving carefully through the strange floating rocks inside the storm. Liam watched from the pilot's seat, unsure if he should feel relief or worry. Mira stood beside him, her eyes locked on the approaching vessel. That's my brother's ship, she said quietly. Liam glanced at her. Can we trust him? She didn't answer right away. He helped me once, when I had no one else, when I was pregnant with Solon. The name of her child made the moment heavier. Liam looked back at Solon, who sat near the ship window, eyes wide. Watching the new ship approach, the silver ship finally docked, and a soft click echoed through the small cabin. He's coming, Mira said, walking to the door. It opened with a soft hiss. A tall figure stepped in. His skin was pale gray like Mira's, with dark green lines across his forehead, signs of an elder Zalari. But his eyes were calm, not cold. They looked at Mira first, then shifted to Solon. He smiled. You've grown, the man said gently. Hello, uncle, Solon said. Then the man looked at Liam. His face changed slightly, confused. You must be the human, he said, Liam. Liam nodded. And you must be Mira's brother. Man stepped forward and placed a hand on Liam's shoulder. Thank you for protecting my sister and nephew. I owe you. Liam was surprised by the gesture. We've all been protecting each other. Mira looked at her brother. Do you still have the old base? Yes. Still hidden. Still safe. He turned toward Solon. We'll take you there. Ours. Later, the two ships flew side by side through silent space, far from any patrols or dangers. Solon sat between Mira and Liam in the pilot room, asking questions about the stars and telling stories about what he'd seen. Mira's brother, whose name was Tarn, flew his own ship ahead. Guiding them, soon a dark moon appeared, covered with rock and dust. But deep below the surface was something more. Tarn's ship sent a signal. A hidden door opened in the side of a mountain. Both ships entered silently, leaving space behind. Inside was a large chamber, metal walls, lights, still working, and machines that had not run in years. Tarn's base was real, and it was safe. They stepped out and looked around. This place has shields, food supplies, and medical pods, Tarn said. It used to be a science station during the Zalari Civil War. Now it's forgotten. Perfect, Mira said. Solon ran ahead, laughing as he looked at the strange machines and lights. For a moment, he looked like any normal child, but they all knew he'd all send single quotes. Later that night, Liam sat alone with Tarn in the base's small control. Room Mira was resting, and Solon had finally fallen asleep. Tarn leaned forward. You want to understand what's going on, don't you? Liam nodded more than ever. Tarn pulled out a small crystal and placed it into the table's center. A soft light appeared, forming images, maps, DNA scans, faces. Solon is not just a mix of human and Zalari, Tarn said. He is something new. Liam watched as the crystal showed an image of a glowing helix, a mixture of two bloodlines. Your human genes, Tarn explained, triggered a sleeping part of Mira's ancient blood. Something older than the Zalari Empire, something powerful. Liam's brow furrowed. What does that mean? It means Solon may have abilities no one fully understands. Healing, energy control, even changing the flow of things around. Liam shook his head slowly, but he's just a child, as Tarn agreed. Which is why he must be protected. The leaders who chased Myra, they believe Solon could be a weapon or a threat. But he's just a boy, Liam repeated. He didn't ask for this. Tarn looked serious. That's why you matter. Not just because you're his father, but because you're human. Liam raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? Your people, Tarn said, have something rare. You fight for love, for family, even against impossible odds. That spirit is exactly what Solon needs to see. Liam looked down. He had never thought of himself as special. He was just trying to protect a boy and a woman who had suddenly become his whole world. The next morning, alarms beeped softly. Mira rushed into the control room. What is it? She asked. Liam checked the screen. Movement. A ship just dropped out of light speed nearby. It's not Tarn's. Tarn walked in. They found us. Liam stood up. Then we make a choice. Run again. Or fight. Mira looked at Solon, who had just joined them, holding her hand. We can't run forever, she said. Tarn nodded. We use the base systems. I'll help guide the defenses. You prepare the ship. If they break through, you leave with Solon. I won't leave you behind, Mira said. We have one chance to stop them from chasing Solon, Tarn said. Let me take it. Solon looked at Liam. Are we going to be okay? Liam knelt in front of him. We're together. It's all that matters. The forest wind was calm, brushing gently through the tall blue trees. Birds with silver feathers sang in the distance. Liam, Mira, and Solon stood near the edge of a glowing lake on Calvin 5. Peace had finally come. But a choice still waited. For them, Mira knelt beside Solon and placed her hand on his shoulder. This planet is safe. But you are more than a child who needs safety. You are something new. Solon looked up at her. What am I, Mama? You're a hope, Myra whispered. Liam sat,